Köln 75, new German film directed by Ido Fluck, starring Mala Emde and John Magaro. It tells the true story of Vera Brandes, a woman who at the age of 16 got into the music business and started organizing and promoting various music concerts in Cologne in the 1970s. And specifically, the movie chooses to focus on the 1975 improvised piano concert by Keith Jarrett, a legendary piano player known, amongst other things, for playing in Miles Davis's band. The recording of which concert remains the best-selling solo jazz album of all time. So I gotta say, I really loved this film. I think it starts pretty decent, but then gets progressively better with every passing minute. What I really enjoyed about its narrative structure is that for the first half of the movie, we watch almost everything from Vera's perspective. But then as we start getting around to Keith Jarrett, he's introduced as a character, and for a good while we actually essentially switch to him being the main character, which is good because it adds all the necessary context for why this was such a unique and a challenging event to occur. But, and this is the crucial part, I think if the movie just suddenly did the switch, it would have been jarring. And the way the filmmakers get around that problem with the journalist character, played by Michael Chernus, is genius. See, he's introduced very early in the film, within the first 5 minutes or so, as a sort of humorous, fourth wall breaking, part character, part narrator who provides all the necessary context for the jazz history and evolution of jazz bands and the significance of Keith Jarrett as a player. So when we finally do switch to Keith, we do it by having the journalist approach him and be with him on the night drive to Cologne. And that way, it all seems very natural and seamless, all the while achieving the goal of fleshing out Jared as a character. So just fantastic writing right there. And aside from that, the movie has a great kinetic energy, never feels boring or slow, keeps moving at a good pace. The performances are great. I loved Mala Emde, who reminded me a little bit of Emilia Jones and a little bit of Jenna Coleman. She has that sort of young, optimistic energy about her. John Magaro is a scene stealer, and I gotta stop here to say this guy has consistently been showing up in great movies over the years, always as a kind of supporting character actor, always doing a great job. He's become one of those people where whenever I spot him, I'm already happy, like seeing an old friend. And in here, he really provides a sort of emotional counter anchor to Vera. She's all gung-ho and optimistic and has the initiative. He's the more introspective, older, thoughtful, a little bit regretful, perhaps, and that contrast works really well. I loved all the music that the movie uses. I like the cinematography and the way it brings the 70s in Germany back to life. And finally, I admire the decision to handle the climax the way that the movie does, which is that the obvious way would be to show Keith playing the concert, where nobody really has any idea if it's going to be any good, and then it's a phenomenal performance. But the movie instead only shows flashes of him playing while a different song altogether is playing on the soundtrack. And we mostly go back to Vera on the backstage, which is a little bit bold, but makes perfect sense because it brings it all back to her, and it is her story after all. She succeeds in that moment, regardless of the quality of the concert itself, really. And of course, for a curious audience like myself, this is a hook to immediately after the film is over, go and listen to the actual concert album and see how it sounds, which is exactly what I did and how I now got introduced to Keith Jarrett's music and will probably become and remain a fan. All around, great piece of cinema. Recommend checking it out.